Mariko Tamaki and Joshua Williamson wrap up their time in Gotham as Batman takes his fight to the Magistrate and Peacekeeper one final time, and Red Hood dodges the Magistrate and even his own partner as he tries to sort out who put a bounty on his head. Mariko Tamaki finishes up her time in the Gotham of the future really well here, but I couldn't help but feel the story didn't really end. It felt more like the ending of the first arc of a larger story, and I have no doubt we'll see this continue within the Future State Gotham book coming up very soon. However, I do wish we got one final word here. What we did get in her story, however, was fantastic, and I love finding Bruce backed into a corner, which leads him to make his final move against the Magistrate. I like Mariko's voice for Bruce, a man who's unsure of himself and if he's doing anything that is actually working for the city. Yet despite his reservations and unsureness of himself, he still perseveres and continues to help. Something I'm looking forward to continuing in her Detective Comics book. I'm looking forward to Hannah's story also continuing in, I guess, the Gotham book as well, since her story is left open-ended and it was a rather integral piece since she is key to unmasking the Magistrate. Joshua Williamson ended his Red Hood story on a bright note, setting up his Gotham book later down the line and providing a fun action-packed romp through Gotham. I really did enjoy this whole series of events came down to a simple clerical error and wish they had a little bit more humour of that come through, since it was really just kind of glossed over in one scene. I did like the revelation that Jason didn't in fact turn on the Bat family like many of us assumed. In fact, he's working for Bruce and the Resistance and has been building a case against the Magistrate. It was a neat little bit that helped connect up the rest of the Resistance stuff, and obviously it's going to pay off in his own book later down the line. Dan Mora finishes up his Future State work in a very explosive way, with many really awesome action-packed panels and of course lots and lots of explosions, which look fantastic with Jordie Bellaire's colours over the top of it. I absolutely loved his final pages, and the two splash pages he did in the story depicting Peacekeeper and Batman's battle across Gotham were just awesome. Milano Giannis concludes the Red Hood story with more wonderful, very dreamlike art that perfectly matches a story about mind control and people doing things against their will. Again, I really liked his redesigns for all of the heroes as well as his designs for the city, specifically here White Rabbit, making her look just futuristic enough while still keeping her overall aesthetic. Future State Dark Detective issue 4 was a pretty good final issue for Batman and Red Hood's time in future Gotham, for now at least. I am a little disappointed there wasn't a complete final story for Batman here, but I assume it's because it's going to continue in the Gotham book in the coming months. Apart from that, the issue excelled at action and was tons of fun to read. I'm going to give this issue an 8.5 out of 10. Future State Dark Detective issue 4 finds the Magistrate Command meeting with Peacekeeper 1, who wants to know what rate they are losing their drone units at. Hannah is also in the meeting, getting a call from her father as Peacekeeper 1 learns 1 in every 672 drones are down, less since they increased the response measures. Peacekeeper says that this means they are not imperceptible, and his people try to explain to him what this means, but the man knows that they have outlined a liability, and until they can account for every unit they are vulnerable, and he cannot accept that. He demands reports on the missing drones as he dismisses the meeting. Hannah is told that they need to send in a report on security systems by the end of the day as her phone rings again. She answers and learns from her father that something is wrong with Jeff, who, as her father puts it, is up to something. Bruce meanwhile is on the roof of his home, fixing up the antenna, knowing that there is no end, only endings, and it's not clean cuts, it's mostly frayed edges and collateral damage, the cost of his mistakes. Noah goes up to see Bruce, who he knows has a gun, telling the man to put it down. After Bruce deals with Noah, he knows now that the man gets to feel right in the idea that the world is coming for him. Getting to work, Bruce knows that he's working to protect Noah and Hannah, but knows it could very well be another series of endless mistakes on his part. Signing off his computer, Bruce takes his leave, knowing Noah's alien disruptor unit was the perfect place to put an actual signal deregulator, one he made out of 6 nano drones among other things, and what happens next will set everything into motion, so he doesn't have much time. But he knows he can save the family and use his best intentions to do this right. Hannah bursts into the house, demanding to see her father, thinking Bruce is robbing them. Bruce says that her father is safe for now as he tranquilizes her as well, apologizing. Bruce takes her out of the building, knowing that Noah was the last holdout in the building, loading her into a van as the magistrate closed in on the site, getting visual interference from somewhere nearby. As Bruce loads Hannah into the van with her father, Peacekeeper 1 gives the order to go, and the magistrate descend on the building. They soon find the device on the roof, moving to disarm it as Peacekeeper 1 tells them to stop and abort, but it's too late as the building rooftop explodes. The drones report they only got partial visual on what was in the basement before it was brought down, as Peacekeeper 1 tells them to find Batman now. Later, Hannah awakens in Bruce's new bunker along with her father. Bruce offers her some water as Hannah demands he start talking. Bruce says that he drugged her since he needed to get them somewhere safe, revealing his real name is Bruce Wayne and he's been hunted by the magistrate, but they raided their building not so long ago, but it's gone now since he couldn't have any evidence left behind. He knows Hannah works for the magistrate, but she says she's only just a programmer. Bruce knows that because of it, she knows about their surveillance tech, but Hannah reveals she knows more since she's been spying on the magistrate for months and is going to expose them for what they have done. She shows Bruce recordings of Peacekeeper 1 and his dictatorous rants, noting how it took serious guts for Hannah to do this. He asks if there's any more recordings, learning she's got enough to show the people of Gotham who they really are, and what the magistrate are really doing and what they plan on doing, since no one will have any privacy anywhere. She knows the magistrate are the judge, jury, and executioners, and no one knows that they are spying on everyone, always chalking up any evidence of it that comes to light as the vigilantes doing. She's not worried about the vigilantes though, since the magistrate want to wipe out all forms of justice except their own. Hannah says she has a media contact she wants to tell, but Bruce tells her to stay put since they won't find her and they won't see him coming, despite what Hannah thinks. Batman leaves for the city, knowing he has a window to strike at Peacekeeper 1, but it's shrinking fast since the villain knows he's alive. Thanks to reincorporating the updated Wayne tech into his suit, they never see him coming as he takes down the cybers outside Magistrate HQ. Once inside, Bruce begins to question if he ever did protect Gotham, or leave it vulnerable for men whose darkness control it now. Bruce blows the building up, doing it in a way so that everyone can see as Hannah races through the burning building. Batman tracks her, catching up to her and telling her that she's got 4 minutes to leave as Peacekeeper 1 arrives, knowing this is Batman's handiwork and he's still in the building. He tells his men to secure the surrounding area as he goes inside. Hannah finishes getting her data, running from the building as Peacekeeper 1 tackles Batman, punching him as the countdown to the next bomb continues. Their battle catapults them outside, where Bruce says that this ends now, but Peacekeeper says that it's just the beginning, and he is going to be the one to save the city. Hannah races through the atrium of the building as more cybers come for her. Knowing that she can't be caught with the data, she forces herself to swallow it. The cybers tell her to halt all movements as Batman beats the Peacekeeper down. The villain calls him a tumor of ancient ideals and chaos, and he burned down the city to build a new one with his own rules. Batman says that this isn't his city as the explosions begin, throwing the men around. Peacekeeper is unmasked in the battle, but Batman knows all of this soliloquy is just to keep the villain there fighting. Watching the fight, Hannah realizes that Bruce Wayne was Batman as Bruce tells Peacekeeper 1 he's not dying for good today. He's burning it all down as the entire Magistrate HQ building explodes. Elsewhere in Gotham, Red Hood isn't happy to find out a bounty has been placed on his head, but Rose is only interested in how much it is, wondering why an alert went up in the first place, thinking it might have to do with the Red Hood gang and mind control they have been found using. Rose unsheathes her sword, wondering what a girl like her could do with that type of money, but Jason disappears on her. Rose knows that this is just their foreplay as Jason races through the streets, contacting Magistrate HQ, demanding to know why there is a mask alert out for him. The magistrates say that they know it must be a mistake and will take a few days to clear up, telling him to come in and they'll take care of him, signaling that there is a station nearby. Jason realizes that they are tracking his calls as their drones descend on him, blowing apart his bike. Jason takes the drones down with his Kurosagama, but is shot in the arm, forcing him to take cover behind a nearby car. The drones blow up the car, and in the aftermath, Peacekeeper 3 finds Jason's helmet. He knows the hero is still alive and out there, so the villain sends the drones out to look for him. Jason makes his escape up onto the rooftop, where he patches up his wounds and takes in the view. He looks at the Red Hood gang helmet, knowing that they are after it, so he puts it on, wanting Rose to come and find him. The helmet takes control of Jason, causing him to race across the rooftops towards a building, where he takes down the guards before going inside to see White Rabbit. Rabbit wasn't expecting to see Jason, knowing her operation must be burned. She notes how she thought that Red Hood was dead as Jason goes to attack her, but is stopped as the villains says that she knew someone got their hands on her tech, telling Jason that the Mad Hatter wasted his technology since he didn't have the get up and go to utilize it to its full potential, and when the powers in Gotham offered him the world for it, he turned it down in an act of moral weakness. So she picked up his hat, so to speak, updated the technology and brought it to the future. Jason silently stands under Rabbit's control as she tells him that she wanted to use her new position in Gotham to give a little bit back to the people, offering them a place under her control in exchange for money. Ravager suddenly appears, saying that she knew where Jason was thanks to her powers, seeing herself and Jason there, but she isn't there to save him, she's there to kill him. Rabbit wants to cut a deal with her, wanting her to kill Jason and collect the bounty while she leaves with the helmet. Rose says that the magistrate call her and Jason dead or alive, but maybe she just kills both of them. Rabbit tells Jason to go after Rose, who knows that she taught Jason his best moves. Rabbit says that one of the upgrades she made to the helmet was that it unlocks the dark things deep down inside a wearer, so she hopes Jason has no repressed issues. Rose knows he definitely does as the man begins his assault on her. The two are evenly matched, but Rose soon manages to damage the helmet, freeing Jason from its control. Jason says that he knew she would find him as Rabbit's men grab Rose, telling Rabbit they need to leave. Jason demands to know who the villain is working for, but the woman says that he just doesn't get it since they work for the same boss, the Eyes in the Sky, and they don't want any of their plans discovered, and he has no idea how far this rabbit hole goes. The magistrate begin to assault the building, blowing their way into it as Jason wonders if Rose saw how they're going to escape and what the future holds. Rose says that he should have kissed her before he left this morning as Jason rushes for her, knowing that they won't let it end like this, so he grabs her, hooking his weapon onto the drone and swinging from the building to the next one as it explodes. One of the drones soon follow them as Rose takes Jason hostage, seeing that she's claiming the bounty on Jason Todd, but she's bringing him in alive. The drones disengage as Jason thinks that they should go to her father's secret island since they could use some sun. Later on, Peacekeeper 6 explains that there was a mix-up with Red Hood's file and the Red Hood gang mask alert, but it's all sorted now and he's going to be getting hazard pay out of it. He wonders where Rose is, but Jason says that she's getting ready to go on a trip. Peacekeeper says that both will be rewarded for taking down White Rabbit since they've been after her for a while, but Jason didn't even know she was on the list. Peacekeeper 6 says they have lots of lists as he asks if they recovered any of her control tech, but Jason says his drones blew everything to hell. Jason takes his leave from the area, finding his old bike, helmet and jacket as a voice asks if he got it. Jason knows the man is asking if he got the evidence linking White Rabbit and the magistrate, which he did. The man is satisfied since this might help locate who is funding the magistrate and track down who it is and what their reason for no masks in Gotham is. Jason tells him that they need to leave Gotham for a while, but the voice says that he can't just yet, but he will be able to soon once they have a case against the magistrate. Jason gets on his bike, saying that in that case he wants Ravager out of this, wanting the man to get her out of Gotham. The man says he'll see what he can do as Jason takes off, telling the voice that he better go to bed since the sun is out and bats don't like sunlight.